Hey everybody, Vail here at Joseki with Dummies. It's Wednesday. We're here for another game review, and this is a game that I played last Sunday at the Jin Chen Tournament here in Seattle. It's the largest Go tournament in Seattle, and they have it down at the Seattle Go Center, and I was very excited to be able to participate in it. It was good support, good turnout. Unfortunately, things didn't go exactly as I had planned. And so let's take a look at the very first game that I played. It was a very exciting game. I'm even though I ended up losing this one, it was incredibly close, as you will see. So let's take a look. In this game, I am white, and we have a 6.5 Komi, which will be important later. So she opens with could be Orthodox, could be um, Kobayashi. We'll see. She opens with a large knight Orthodox. She pincers me, which is fine. Here, actually, I think I went off Joseki, and I think actually I'm supposed to go here first. And then after this, something like that. But that's not what happened. So I went here. Nothing terribly bad happened from it. I was actually playing this because I was hoping that she would Hane. So if she Hanes here, then you can descend. And when white blocks, you can cut. And there's no good way out here. So first off, black needs to worry about this stone. So extend maybe. But then after that, there's no way for these three stones to live. So that didn't happen, however, and she just extended up, which is good. And that's the end of the Joseki. She covers the Aji, so I get Sente. Now here, I I do this move. Now, I think I just straight up made a mistake, and I think that I should have played it Q4. So I think this move maybe should have been here. I see what she's doing. She's building a moyo here, and I need to find a way to stop this from becoming so huge that I can't handle it in the future. And so I I played the move that I did here, but I think this is just straight up wrong. Having said that, though, I've gone through because I think this is the turning point of the game. I think this is the point at which um, I basically give her her big moya that she wants. And so if I had played something like anything else, something like this, maybe this, I need to review the patterns that come from it. I'm not 100% sure. So here's my first takeaway: don't play moves that you don't know what's going to happen, right? So typically, um, you're supposed to play moves that you know how the pattern goes, and I don't know this one or this one. Nevertheless, if I'd played this, I can foresee it going something like this, where she takes the big corner, I shoulder hit her group, protect, extend, or jump away, I should say. If she cuts me, if she separates me, pincers me, then this kind of pattern, at least I'm giving her territory and a large corner in the bottom right. However, I've taken away her ability to make a large amount of points in a moyo towards the center of the board. So this is an option. However, this is what I ended up doing. Now, here we have a lot of variations that I've thought about because she hanes. Okay, so I have a number of different things I could do here. This is what I ended up doing in the game. And you see what happens here. she Ataris, I Atari, I extend, and I've got this running group, right? She threatens to cut it off, so I have to create a bamboo joint. She's closing me in. I Atari, and I get life ish in Gote. This is terrible for me. This is awful. And look what I've given her. I've given her a group that is extending out towards my stone. Possibility for territory here, but more importantly, I've given her her moyo that she wanted. So, thinking about how I went wrong there, I thought about this crosscut first. Now, this crosscut could potentially lead to her Atari here. My Atari, basically kind of a very similar pattern, except that it's facing the right direction. Now it's facing into her moyo as opposed to towards a corner, which is going to give me 3 or 4 points. So even if I do this hanging connection, and she takes both of the peeps, it could turn into this, theoretically. Now, granted, this white group is not alive, but it's going to be hard to kill, and in the process, it looks like I've destroyed her entire moyo. And she's not getting much on the side here. She might get some as she attacks this, she might get something over here on the right side of the board, but she's not going to get her moyo as easily. And so I think this is way better. Um, Alternatively, going back, she might not have Atari here. She might have extended. That's fine too, actually, as it turns out, because I can just Atari. If she Ataris, I capture. Now I have a Panuki on the second line, which is probably going to live, and again, take away any potential territory that she has in her moyo. But you say, Vail, what if she Ataris this direction, protecting her moyo? Aha, I thought about that too. If she does this, then I could extend up, and if she Ataris here, then I can do this. Now, this is better, I think, than because she's probably going to connect up, right? So this is better because now I have some ability to. I have eye space. I've good shape, and even though she's getting more points than she did before on the side, in the corner, I should say, I again have a strong group that's going to be able to diminish or reduce her moyo. So that's one option. If she doesn't Atari here, she might extend up, trying to protect her moyo, as you mentioned, rightly so. Good viewer. But in this case, I can just Atari here because she hasn't protected her cut. And then if she does this, I am giving her a moyo, but it's significantly reduced. There's options for Haneing at the top, and I have a pretty good sized corner. So there's still options here, even if this kind of thing happens. It's not the end of the world for me. This is probably the best variation for black, in my opinion, given the crosscut. All right, so if, however, she crosscuts here, or if she extends here due to my crosscut, I again get to get into her moyo by extending this way with a living group. Now she can't get any points here. She has to develop over on this side. Again, very good for me. If instead she extends this way, this is probably one of the most difficult variations for white because I would need to extend here, otherwise I get captured in the ladder. She needs to extend here, and then I can try to get good shape by extending there. If she pushes through, then it turns into this kind of situation. She can cut here. However, after sacrificing the stone at M2, I keep black low, and while black does get a sizable corner in the bottom right, again, same kind of thing where white has reduced black's moyo potential. So a lot of different variations there to look at. I think the best option this is probably wait, what did I say? This is probably the best option for black after white's cross cut, because this group is still weak and can be bossed around a little bit, but it's probably not going to die. However, I did not cross cut, and I played on this side, and as you all saw, this turns into me running for life and being alive in Gote, while black gets territory on both the right side of the board and the bottom moyo. Okay, so I think that whole thing, that's where I basically really dropped the ball. I could have done better there. Nevertheless, the game remains fairly close after this, because I check her extension here. Um, she approaches, I extend, she goes in. I pincer here because it's a very light pincer, but my idea is I have an extension, or I have an enclosure here in the upper right. So you want to extend from an enclosure. So I do that. She takes the opportunity to take my 3/3, and I lightly run away while taking territory-ish here. She splits me, and then she jumps out. Now, here is the second, in my opinion, big error that I make. Oops. Because after she jumps out here, I play this shoulder hit. Now, I thought a lot about this move, and I think that this is just bad timing on my part, because this doesn't need to be responded to. Not from the group in the upper left. She can ignore that. Much better to just jump out. I thought about this, but I thought, yeah, but look at all the bad stuff that can happen. As it turns out, not much bad stuff can happen. If she jumps out, then I can shoulder hit. Now I've got pretty good shape. I've got this kind of, what do they call that? The horse's head kind of shape. And if she tries to split, this doesn't really go anywhere. And you can see that now my group is connected. And while, yes, black gets some territory here, I have the potential now, with all this strength from this group, to either attack this string here, her 3 stones here, or I can make a moyo of my own, playing on the sector line of our 2 moyos. This would be fantastic for me. I did not see it, and instead I didn't jump out. Another option that she could do is she could peep here first, but this is fine too. After I connect and she jumps out, I can peep here, and then I just jump out again. And she'll need to protect her peeping stone. But there are a couple ways to handle that. So I can clamp here. Now this clamp is really interesting, because if she descends here, then I can turn at the top of her group. And then if she cuts me off, obviously that ends badly for her. So she can't do that. So maybe she goes here, in which case I just connect and I'm fine. Again, her 4 stones here can now be attacked very strongly. But she might instead extend up this way. Then I just connect on the bottom, and I get this kind of shape here, which again, I can now strongly attack her 4 black stones. If she decides to hane here, she might not. She might just capture, in which case I can immediately cap. But if she hanes here, I can extend to get a little bit more after she connects, because this would be a capture, right? So she needs to connect here. And then I can just capture these stones. So that's even better for me, leaving this group floating and this group floating. So all of these things just take more reading skill from me, instead of all this stuff that could have happened from a very simple... Actually, you know what? I take that back. This doesn't require fancy reading, because what my mistakes have been in this game is frequently I get a little freaked out playing face to face, and I make weird moves. I make these moves like this shoulder hit. The standard move is just jump out, and I thought to myself, yeah, but that's giving her too much. It's not. Play the standard moves. It gets me into trouble multiple times in this game. So because I do the shoulder hit first, she's able to now attach on the top of my stone. Now I've got to run away, and she makes good shape. After threatening to cut her stone off, I connect my groups, but then she pincers me. Here I just attach, and she extends, which is fine. This is where the game starts to turn around for me a little bit. I start to make up some territory, but not as much as I think I'm making up. After I jump into the center here, she shoulder hits me. I extend, she extends, and then I cap her stone here. The reason for this is I don't want her to be able to play where I did and then um, have a good place to run, have a good place for this group to run. I'm kind of thinking about attacking this later. She defends kind of oddly, but it works. At this point, I have to try to get into her moyo, so I play a few moves that allow me to reduce her a little bit. And this was very interesting. So after this, I'm able to capture her two stones, and I was very happy about that. I don't think she saw it. I don't think she saw the danger that her two stones were in. So that works out great for me. Still solidifies her moyo a little bit. She loses some territory, but not that much. And then she plays here. Now here, first I play this to protect a little bit of territory. She plays there. And then I play here. Now, first off, let me back up. And if... So, okay. So I play this move. I did not need this move. This move is superfluous. It's a pass, basically. It's 1 point worse than a pass. I thought I needed it because I thought that the push through. I thought that the push at C5 would work. It does not. Even the best she can hope for is to descend here, at which point I just connect, and there's nothing that she can do. This is kind of interesting, though, because it takes some reading. There's no eyes here. So even if she does descend and try to threaten the cut at C5, she doesn't have enough time to protect her group. If she instead tries to make her group live here, it's again completely dead. So that's the best she could do. Yeah, there's just nothing, no options there for. There's no reason why I needed to connect at C5, but I was scared. So after I push, I connect here. I should have played here instead of the C5 move. That way, it keeps a bit more territory for me, and I still have a way to jump into this area here. But I didn't do that, and I connect in fear, and she takes a few more points from me. Makes this monkey jump. This was a hard thing to read to figure out, because which is more important, stopping. Just mark them. Which is more important, stopping this stone or this stone? I don't know. I tried to. Either way, playing at C5 it allowed basically both of these. But as you noticed in the variations, if I had used this move correctly, I could have stopped either this move or this move. And I'm not sure which one is bigger. They say the monkey jump is worth 8 points. So I think that probably stopping this move is better, since there are ways to deal with the monkey jump, which is what I do now. This is my standard way of dealing with a monkey jump. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. I don't even know if this is the appropriate way. I don't see pros do this very often, but my standard way of dealing with most monkey jumps is to shoulder hit them and then sacrifice Hane and sacrifice this stone. It doesn't work in all situations, but you'll see here that now this is this Atari, and I just let them capture. The reason I do it this way is it ends in Sente for me. So having Sente, I now come back and capture this stone. And now I play this Hane. This was this was my big strategy for the middle game here. I saw that I had my eye on this point, and I realized that I couldn't take it right away because black could still play here. So I needed to find a way to play this move before I played this move. So I started to threaten on the other side, knowing that I could then take this cut and in hopefully in Sente, play this in Sente, and then take this cut. So it's a like a cascading kind of thing. But but yeah, this was my idea, and it worked out okay actually, as you'll see. She does have to block here. I get a free Atari, and then I cut here. I play a couple forcing moves, and then I push up here. This again is Sente, so she connects out. If she doesn't respond here, I can capture. So she defends the cutting point there. I play a move, a couple more moves in Sente, and then I make my cut. I was really happy with this. I thought, yeah, I did it, and in fact, I did, because after that, I am able to capture these stones. She now sees that her group is cut off, so she protects it. I make a large move towards the center. Not sure. Should that have been where she played? I don't know. Probably. But after this, I am able to threaten a cut, and then after she defends against the monkey jump, I can connect. Some basic moves here, a few peeps. Very happy with that as well, as you'll see, because I'm able to get a bit more territory. Now at this point, I'm looking at the game board, and I'm thinking, I am rocking this. This is working out great for me. I should not be thinking that. I am ahead, but according to the score estimator, I'm only ahead by 2.5 points. So this is so much territory. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, but I got all this and this. That's true, but it's so close. I thought that I was more ahead than I was. And because of that, I played some slack moves. So Sente jumps out. Now, because I thought I was ahead, I played this move, thinking I'll just lightly enclose. I should not have done that. I should have played here more aggressively. A few variations. If white pokes this eye out, then I can block here. And when black jumps in, this is the best that black can hope for. And this is still better for me. I'm actually ahead at this point by 5.5 points. I'm sorry, yeah, white's ahead by 5.5. So I've made 3 points in the process. But now, what if she jumps here? Again, I can just cut that off. I get more territory this way. This is even better for white. So this would not be this is too ambitious for black. And if I block on this side, then it gets a little worse for me. So I wouldn't want to block. Wouldn't want to block this way. I want to block this way instead. But I don't. I think I'm ahead, so I just lightly block. And then after a few moves here, she's able to, particularly with this move here, completely decimate any potential for making up a couple of points in the game. So we're getting into some endgame stuff here. And not everything is very clean, but mostly all standard stuff until we get to this point. This is another pass move. She doesn't even have an eye here. There's no reason for me to play here. The group is alive. This is a useless move. I think what I was thinking is some kind of play here later to force her to capture, and then I could, maybe snap back. But it's so dumb. I should have used it here. This is a huge Sente move. She needs to respond, right? So she would need to respond at T6. If she does, then it's fine. If she ignores it, then I have these options here. So she can't block this way because this Hane allows me to kill the entire group. So instead, she would need to play here. However, this ends badly too because you can play this Tsuji. After this Tsuji, if she blocks, then you can jump in here and the whole shape dies. See that? If she instead sees that and blocks here, then black lives, but much smaller. So this would have been good. This would have been good to see. Instead, I basically 1 point worse than passing, and she's able to poke out a little bit more space, take a few Sente moves, but then she turns the Sente over to me, and I'm able to push a few times, take some Sente, and that's Atari, so she has to connect, and she connects there. And then here again, this should be here. Even if black cuts me off, this move is still Gote for black, so I should have taken it. And pretty big endgame move. I'm not sure what the points would have been then. Instead I go here and allow her to take this move. It does end in Gote, but she gets a couple more points. Atari threatened to cut. Atari, and this ends in Gote. And then I play this push, and here's where things start to get a little. After a few more endgame moves, she plays here. I connect, and then I take this, or she takes the ko. I play this move, okay, because it's huge Sente. It's Atari, so she has to connect. But now I should not have taken this ko back because I should have just connected here. The reason is that now what black can do is cut me off. And since you notice that this is an Atari, so I have to connect. And now this gives black enough time to kill that entire white group. Like that. Instead, neither of us see it, and we end up fighting this ko for no reason. Yeah, this could have been a clean kill for black. Nevertheless, neither of us see it. We end up going back and forth a few times, and then after I finally do see it here, after she's cut me off this way, I connect, and she fills the ko, and the game is over. And as you'll see on the score estimator, black wins by 0.5. So a 0.5 loss for me in the first game of the Jin Chen Tournament. I was disappointed, but honestly, what an exciting game. I really enjoyed it. And I think my takeaways from it were, especially back in the beginning, Uh, this variation, don't play stuff I don't know, and don't honey on this side. If I'm going to play here, reduce her moyo. This could have been a completely different game if she hadn't had this massive amount of territory that I had to make up. And then a few other lessons that I learned were don't. I think the biggest takeaway for me is don't minimize the simple moves. The move here, this should have been just a regular jump. That could have turned the tides. I think this was really important to have seen, and it's not even that hard. I try to get fancy, so don't downplay the basic move. Those are probably your best options. So those are my takeaways. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I certainly did. Wednesdays are our game reviews, and typically what we're trying to do is we're trying to post game reviews on Wednesdays and life and death on Saturdays and end game review on Mondays. And if you don't know why we're doing that, take a look at my 3 ways to get better at Go video, and you'll see kind of my strategy, my philosophy on improvement. I certainly need some improvement, and I think that this game has helped me. So until next time, folks, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Take care.